walk you through all my puzzle bowls in this video. And I'm also working Fen up to these. He actually currently is eating out of a normal bowl right now because he is one of the most picky dogs when it comes to food. So he eats out of a normal bowl, but Wrigley inhales her food. So she always eats out of one of the more challenging type of feeders. So I'm going to take you through all of them and show you why I like them. I'll lay them all out here, and a couple different troubleshooting type things that I'll walk you through as well. So this is the main one that I'm actually using for Wrigley right now, just because it's easy. It's a rubber material. It is super easy to load. You can just throw some food in there. Again, whether you're feeding raw, kibble, whatever you're feeding, that's kind of the nice thing about puzzle bowls. It doesn't matter what you're feeding. Everything is going to work in here. This one right here is just a little spiky bowl. It's kind of like a mini version of this one. I kind of like this one for traveling with. I will take this one with me, or something like this size, so I'm not lugging around like this bad boy right here. But this one's kind of like an easier version than the green one. This one I've used for Fenway in the past. Fen is smaller than Wrigley is, and he can jam his tongue in here. This is definitely more of a medium hard level bowl though, because they really have to use their tongue to get all of the food out. Same thing with this green one. I really prefer these for Wrigley. It takes her quite a bit longer to actually get the food out of there, which is great. This one I actually really like for Fen. I've used this for him in the past. It is like an actual bowl that has sides as well. So if your dog does get more raw food, or you are hydrating their food with like bone broth or something, this can be really great for that because it has higher walls on the side. Fair warning, these two do not have super high walls, but there is enough that if you were going to hydrate their food, I might do it in a separate bowl ahead of time and then transfer. This one you can do it all in the same go. But this one is nice and easy. It just has grooves in the middle. Hopefully you guys can all see that. It has some grooves in the middle, so he does have to like use his tongue still to kind of work the food out of here, but it's not as complex as like say something like this. It really is, the food is just sitting on the surface. So this is a great one for if your dog is just starting out. If you're using raw food, you can use it as kind of a licky mat as well. So that's really great for those purposes. Let me move Fen's actual bowl out of the way. This one is great. This one is a little bit more like medium hard level. Again, I use this one a ton for Wrigley, and it's really easy to clean. The depth in this one is about 2 inches deep. Fen has a harder time with this one, but these spiral patterns are definitely great for like a harder level component in a puzzle bowl. This one is cute. I bought it because it's cute. This one is a little bit easier. They're just large squares, and you just load the food in here and your dog slurps it out. It's really nice. It is a little bit more of an easy level one, which is always good to have. This one, just for size comparison, this is the large one and this is the medium-sized one, this purple guy over here. You can buy the orange one in a smaller size, and you can buy the purple one in a bigger size as well. This one I bought with the intentions of using for Fen, and it has worked pretty well in the past. It's not too hard for him, but again, the food motivation was lacking. And I haven't started using these puzzle bowls yet because I really wanted to make sure he's consistently eating, and that is like a habit at this point before I make it arguably harder for him. And I say harder, I think that like I get some comments every now and then like, why would you make your dog work so hard to eat their food? One, they actually really enjoy it. Fen, the part he doesn't like about it is that he didn't like the food that I was actually putting in here. But I'll give these out as just enrichment toys as well throughout the day. Throw some treats in here, let my dogs get those treats out. I get that comment a whole lot, and I know that it's a common question as well, that I always give my dogs the option to eat the food for free if they want to, but which is exactly why right now I'm just using this for Fen. I really want to make sure that he likes the food and it's not hard for him to get the food before I will start to try it with this. And when I start to try it with a puzzle bowl, I am going to put part of his food in his regular bowl and part of his food in a puzzle bowl and see which he actually prefers. And I'm not gonna force him to like eat out of a puzzle bowl if he doesn't want to eat out of a puzzle bowl. But my older dog Wrigley really enjoys eating out of a puzzle bowl, and it slows down her eating. It's better for her overall health that way, so she's not inhaling her food. So they will get puzzle bowls. Wrigley will continue to get them. Fen will get a puzzle bowl only if he wants to eat out of a puzzle bowl. But he does actually enjoy these. These are kind of a normal part of his routine right now, just not with food time quite yet. This one right here, easy level 1. This is the one that I used with Fen for a long time. This one they make again in like bigger, smaller sizes, but it's not that hard. It's, you know, not as complicated as the spiral. So this is a more easy level 1, good one to start with if you're just starting out. This one is really comparable to this one. Not a whole lot else to say about it. It's pretty great. I have had success with food, Fen's food in this one in the past. This one is also just like, these two are just a little bit smaller than I would prefer for Wrigley. She's almost 60 pounds. And I prefer something that's just bigger that I can spread the food out in, and it just takes her a little bit longer to finish it that way. Again, for her, so she can't inhale the food. Okay, and then there's these ones. These ones are the hardest that I have, so they're also great for Wrigley, but they are a little bit of a pain to clean because you have to take them out in parts. So this one, the top bone kind of comes off right here, but this part itself is a little puzzle that you can drop some food in. This is all patterned right here. This also slides out. Do this one-handed, there we go. So that comes out, and then you're left with this. So you can separate all of it to clean, which is nice. It just takes like an extra thought. So there's this one, and then when it's fully together, this actually rotates, which is super cool. So I really like these for Wrigley. They're too hard for Fen. However, this one is a little bit easier for Fen. So you can take, again, this piece out. This one is a little bit more like a licky mat, so it's much easier to kind of load this piece for Fen, and I typically will leave this piece out. But again, this one does rotate as well, so you can load the bottom, load the top, and then your dog has to kind of spin this in order to get the stuff at the bottom. So those are a little bit harder level type puzzle toys or puzzle bowls that can come in handy. So a big thing that I get too is my dog thinks that they're easy, and like my dog figures them out super quickly. Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yes, your dog will figure them out pretty quickly. So in order to keep them novel and something that does kind of continue to work their brain, rotate through them. So you might pick like this one and this one for the week, and you do half the week with this one or half the week with this one. You could also do every other day. So one day you do this one, the next day you do this one. Vice versa, you could add a third one in there, and then the following week, maybe you go with this guy alongside this one. So while we're not trying to, the goal is not to make it impossible and hard for your dog to actually get the food into their system, it's to keep it a little bit stimulating and a little bit interesting. So even though your dogs may have figured this out, if you get a few more instead of just one, and you keep them on a rotation, that will help with them being more stimulating over a period of time. So that is a tip that I have for using puzzle bowls is if you got one dog, get 2 or 3 and keep them on a rotation. It's easier for cleaning purposes that way too, so you always have a clean bowl if you need it. And yeah, problem solved that way. If your dog is super new to puzzle bowls, again, I would start with something easy like this, or even something like this. But you also want to kind of consider the breed of dog that you have. So I wouldn't require like a pug. I wouldn't require a pug to eat food out of this. That's not fair. They have a really short snout. And they're gonna have a difficult time getting their tongue all the way down in this. So definitely consider the breed of dog that you have and what they're physically capable of. I like something like this for a shorter snouted dog. It has almost no depth to it whatsoever. So if you're looking for a puzzle bowl for your pug or your Boston Terrier or something, this can be a good option, and other things like that. Same thing with this blue one. Again, teaching your dog how to use this stuff with food that they are very interested in first, instead of just throwing their kibble immediately in it, and maybe they're not super fond of their kibble, and you're, you know, like, yeah, like this is gonna be super fun and super amazing for you, and your dog looks at it and they're like, that is not what I wanted in my life. So if you have that dog, I have one of those dogs, use a regular bowl and let them choose. That's actually something that I may start tonight so I can film it. I ended up trying 2 nights of this. I offered Fen the blue bone licky mat style bowl first. He kind of went back and forth between his regular bowl and this puzzle bowl. This one he didn't end up choosing to eat everything out of the puzzle bowl first. He actually ate everything out of his normal bowl first and then kind of went back to the puzzle one. Although he did not clean up all the crumbs, which I don't know. It was kind of, he ate it, but he left a bunch left over that if it was in his normal bowl, he would have eaten it. Then tonight I actually tried this other new bowl that I got that I'm also going to link below as well. This one he did finish everything out of, but again, he chose to eat out of his regular bowl first. So I am just going to be feeding him out of his normal food bowl for now and offering these as enrichment toys throughout the day. But get your dog excited about the food that they're eating first, and then you can start to experiment with some of this stuff. Now, some dogs are going to be very excited about working for their food out of an item like this though, and something like this might actually heighten their motivation to want to get the food. So if your dog doesn't love their food, you might just try the puzzle bowl right away and just see, like, does this increase my dog's interest because they're working to get their food? And a lot of these a lot of puzzle bowls really satisfy a driving instinct in our dogs to want to scavenge. They're scavengers by nature. So snuffling around for food in the grass or in the environment, this simulates that. So it'll actually kind of tap into that side of your dog. And if they're not super thrilled about their food when it's just in a regular food bowl, some dogs might get really stoked about eating their food out of something like this, and that alone might increase their food motivation. So if you're looking for puzzle bowls, I'd recommend picking up a few. There are a bunch others out there. Like I said, I've got a few more on order right now that are coming in. Hi, buddy. But I recommend picking up a few, and I'll link to a few more that are my favorites as well that I've had in the past that have just gotten lost in moves and stuff like that I need to pick up more of. But puzzle bowls, really easy form of enrichment that you can add into your dog's day-to-day routine, and they will last a super long time.